All right, so hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming to today's college fair. First things first, thank you to our sponsors, the Princeton Review Philippines, AUG Student Services, LIMS Review Center, Study International Philippines, AIM Review Philippines, ICLA at Yamanashi Gokin University, Queen's University, and Syracuse University. Now I am happy to introduce today's speaker representing the University of Edinburgh. They will be here with us for an hour to present about academics, student life, and more in their university. After the presentation, they can also answer any questions you might have for them. So to all attendees, if you have any questions at any point during this talk, feel free to send them through the Q&A feature. And I will also link an interest form in the chat if you want to contact details to be forwarded to the University of Edinburgh. Just scroll down to the appropriate day and you will see their name and link in the form. So to all speakers at the end of your information session, please feel free to scroll through the questions in the Q&A and answer those you wish to. And yes, I'm recording the session. And without further ado, here is Louise.
Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. And thank you for those of you who have come to learn a little more about the University of Edinburgh today. I'm very excited to be able to introduce you to our university. So just to begin with, my name is Louise Tracy and I work at the university in our international office, and my job title is International Recruitment Manager for Southeast Asia. So very much my job, my role within the university is to help prospective students who are interested in learning more about the University of Edinburgh and potentially applying to study with us and understanding what the process is and what they need to know. So very happy to take you through a presentation of around 40 minutes, just introducing you to the university and giving you the key insights as to what you need to know to apply. And then of course, having some time for questions at the end if you have any. So my presentation is going to be in 4 parts today. So first of all, I want to introduce you to Scotland and the city of Edinburgh, and then of course to the prestigious University of Edinburgh. I then want to discuss on our undergraduate degree programmes and how the degrees are structured at the university. And then lastly, to give you some insights and tips about applying to our degree programmes. So firstly, introducing Scotland. Now, we very much see Scotland as a country of contrasts. We have beautiful countrysides like this, where you'll see lots of Munros and lochs. So for those of you who aren't fluent in Scottish words, Munros are mountains, lochs are lakes. So if you've heard of the Loch Ness Monster, you'll of course already be very familiar with that word. But in terms of the country itself, although we have beautiful countryside, we do have really great cosmopolitan cities. Of course, Edinburgh being one of those, but Glasgow, Aberdeen, Dundee, there's always a lot going on within the country. Now, in general terms, our population is quite small. So we have just over probably about 5.5 million people who live in Scotland. Now, in general terms, the UK has around about 65 million people who live there. So as you can see, in terms of the size of the country, as a UK in general, we're quite small. So to put it into perspective, in London, they have over 8 million people who live there. But the great thing about that is it means that there's a lot of space when you live and study in Scotland. There's a lot of space for you to roam and you don't feel too densely packed into any particular city or town that you live in. Now, one of the great things about Scotland as well is that we're really well connected to other major cities in the UK, Europe, and the rest of the world. So it's very easy to come to Scotland. We have 3 international airports in Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Aberdeen. And again, that connects you to Europe and the rest of the world as well. So really easy to visit, not only other cities within Scotland, but others within the rest of the UK, which we always encourage students to do when they come to study in the UK. Now, in terms of the country, we're part of the UK and we're part of the UK government, but we do have our own devolved parliament. So that means that we can make decisions on different areas within the country. So for example, that's education and healthcare being those main areas. So for that reason, our education system is a little bit different to England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So I'll discuss that a little bit in the upcoming slides, but I will give you an insight as to why our degree programmes are longer in length than those in the rest of the UK. And lastly, the UK and Scotland particularly is seen as a very hospitable and welcoming place. So we hear this a lot from visitors, tourists, those who come and study with us, that they find the people very friendly and welcoming, which is always a lovely thing to hear. Now, in terms of the city, this is one of my favourite skylines. Now, you'll see that Edinburgh is quite an old historic city, so there's no huge skyscrapers, it's all really on one level. And the main focal point of the city is Edinburgh Castle that you can see in the middle of this picture here. So very historic, lots of heritage, beautiful architecture is what you can expect when you come to study in Edinburgh. Now, it is the capital city, and we have a population of just over 500,000 people. Now, there are 4 universities based in Edinburgh and many other education colleges, further education colleges. So that means that students make up around about 15% of the population of the city. Now, that's really great for those who come to study here because it means the city is very much ready for students, whether that's in terms of what's happening on the weekends or embedding yourself into the local community and culture. We find students are really able to do that quite easily. We're known as an inspiring capital. We have a really thriving economy. So some of the things that people don't know about Edinburgh is that we are actually the largest financial powerhouse outside of London within Europe. So a lot of multinational companies, for example, have set up their second headquarters here in Edinburgh. So we have a really large financial sector. So big banks like HSBC are based here in Edinburgh with some of their headquarters. So again, if you're interested in working, whether that's part-time alongside your studies, getting an internship over the summer, or even staying on in the UK afterwards, there's lots going on in Edinburgh and hopefully lots of opportunity for you there, even though we are a small city. We are a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the world's first UNESCO City of Literature. So for any of you who are fans of Harry Potter, of course, you'll know that that was born here in Edinburgh. And again, lots going on in the city because of that. We are known as the Festival City. So the city itself actually hosts 12 international festivals across the year. And that's everything from the International Book Festival, International Film Festival, the International Science Festival. So again, lots going on the weekends and things to do when you're living in Edinburgh. We are also a very green city. So again, lots of fresh air, lots of space, lots of hiking trails. We're close to the seaside. So again, if you want to get out and into that fresh air, Edinburgh is a really great place to do that. And one of the things I really love about Edinburgh is that it's compact and very walkable. So there's not a lot of need often to get on public transport. There's a bike hire scheme. So again, you can really walk or cycle all around Edinburgh, but we do have a really great, reliable transport system as well, and very easy to get from the airport to the city centre. It takes around about 25, 30 minutes on a direct bus or tram. So very easy to get into Edinburgh when you arrive into the city's airport as well. Now, this is just a quick map. I won't go into too much detail here because it might be quite difficult to understand or if you've not visited the city itself. But I wanted to just give you an idea about where the university is in comparison to the city. Now, the university, I would always say, is the city of Edinburgh, and that's one of the things I love about it. We're really right in the city centre. So you'll see some of the red buildings on the top of the map here. These are the famous landmarks within the city. So you'll remember the first image I showed you there, which showed Edinburgh Castle, which is one of our main features and skylines. That's only around about a 5 to 10 minute walk from our central campus. The central campus is surrounded by museums. We have the National Museum of Scotland, the National Library of Scotland, really close by to all of those amenities and facilities that you might want to use as a student. And again, as I mentioned, we're a very green city. You'll see here all of the green space that's around about the city centre as well. So really allowing you in time to get into that fresh air. Now, you'll notice a little bit further south on this map is our King's Building campus. So that's a second campus that we have within the university. It's around about a 25-minute walk from central campus, and it's where our science and engineering students study. We also teach medicine and vet medicine, and you'll see just off to the right of this map that those campuses are a little bit further out. So usually a bus ride away. So now to come to introduce the University of Edinburgh. This is one of my absolute favourite buildings on campus and probably one of our most iconic. The dome here on the top can be seen all across the skyline of Edinburgh as well. So this is actually where our School of Law is based. And again, you'll see a nice sunny day, students can hang out in the quadrangle in the middle there as well. So the University of Edinburgh is one of the 6 ancient universities in the UK, and we were founded back in 1583. Now, we're really proud to be consistently ranked in the top 20 in the QS World Rankings. And actually in the 2023 QS World Rankings, which were just released a couple of weeks ago, we are actually 50th in the world. So we're an extremely prestigious university, and we're very proud to often come out top in many of the leaderboards and in the ranking systems. So we do have that excellent reputation, for teaching and research, and 80% of our academic staff are actually active in research. Now that might sound like more of a benefit for postgraduate students or research students, but it actually spills into those students who are coming to study their first degree with us, so their undergraduate or bachelor degree program. Because there's so much research going on, again, that shapes a lot of what you'll be taught while you're studying with us. And then lastly here, we are a founding member of the Russell Group. So you might have heard of the Russell Group. It's a research intensive group of universities based in the UK. We're often likened to the Ivy League in the USA, if you're more familiar with that. But again, really research intensive, so showing you that we're really at the cutting edge of what's going on in the world today. So as I talked about, although we see ourselves as historic and prestigious, we do also want to be an extremely modern and progressive university. So we've moved along quite a lot since we were founded back in 1583. And we really try to create new innovative degree programs that respond to the global challenges that are going on in the world today. So whether that's to do with social responsibility, climate change, we really try to make sure that we're either embedding those topics within some of our degree programs, or really creating new programs that will respond to those problems or those issues that are happening worldwide. So you'll see again, top 40 in the world for social, economic and environmental. We're committed to sustainability. And I would say as a city, as a country, Scotland is too. So we're aiming to go carbon neutral and zero waste by 2040. So that's something that's really important to us. Again, we've spent a lot of money, time, resources and investing in our facilities. So making sure that you have state-of-the-art facilities for your teaching and learning, but also in terms of sports and any research that you'll be interested in as well. And one of the most exciting developments that we've had over the past few years is our £120 million investment into the Edinburgh Futures Institute. So it's set to be the largest interdisciplinary centre in the UK. So what we mean by interdisciplinary is that we're allowing you to choose subjects and mix those across a number of different subject areas in order to, again, build your knowledge to be more employable in the future as well. So in terms of who we are as a university, we really see ourselves as being open to the world. We are an extremely international institution. We have over 45,000 students, so a very large student population. And you'll see around about 27 of those studying undergraduate programs, so that's your bachelor degree. And we have over 160 countries represented across our staff and student populations. So we're Scotland's largest university, but definitely one of the largest in the UK as well. Now, in terms of a university of that size, you might think, what does that mean for me? Will I just be a number? And we really try to encourage you that you won't, because we have a really great staff to student ratio. So you'll see here over 15,000 staff. So I think we're one of the top 3 employers within Edinburgh are working at the university. And there's 1 academic staff member for every 5 students who come to study with us. And if you add in our support staff, there's actually 1 member of staff to every 3 students. So again, really making sure that you're well supported, that you've got access to our world-leading academics while you're studying with us. And one of the key things as well is that we do have many students who study with us online. So although never coming to Edinburgh to study on our campuses or in the city, again, many people all across the world know Edinburgh and study with us, which is really cool. So in terms of the structure and how the university is set up, I often think this is quite important just to help you understand how, as a student, you would be studying in such a large institution. So what we do is we have 3 colleges, which really reflect our main areas of teaching and research, and underneath those are 21 different schools. And I'll come into a bit more detail about what those schools are and what types of subjects we teach in the coming slides. We do also have 135 interdisciplinary research centres. So again, that really feeding into a lot of the teaching and research that goes on within the university. There's a lot of centralised and specialist services that all students get access to that don't necessarily sit within the schools or colleges. So that would be things like our disability service, our international student support, our chaplaincy service, health and wellbeing service, for example. So again, lots of support for you to get access to when you're a student at Edinburgh. So our largest college is the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, and it won't be a surprise to you when you see the schools and the subjects that are listed here. So we probably have around about 25,000 students studying within this college alone, possibly pushing up to 30,000 now with the growth that we've seen over the past couple of years. So again, we teach business here, so accounting and finance, business management, marketing, and all of these subjects in between. We do divinity, where you'll study things like theology and religious studies, economics, Edinburgh College of Art, where we have design, fine art, music, history of art, education and sport. We do health and social science, where there's some counselling, law. We teach Scots law at the University of Edinburgh. So of course, because we're based in Scotland, it means that we're really training lawyers who want to practice in Scotland after their studies. Literature, languages and culture. So again, lots of foreign languages, really popular programs in English literature and Scottish literature. We have philosophy, psychology and language science. And then lastly, social and political science, where you'll study subjects like international relations and politics. Then we have our College of Medicine and Vet Medicine. Now, this is our smallest college, and that's typically because our class sizes have to be managed and contained because, of course, students go out on placements and things, and you need access to various parts of facilities. So we don't ever recruit too many students to this college, just to make sure that you have access to this. So in our medical school, of course, we do our medicine degree program, which is a 6-year medicine degree, but we also cover biomedical sciences and clinical sciences. And then we have our School of Vet Studies, which is a 5-year vet degree program. Now, this is the only conjoint medical and vet medical school in the UK. So it gives a really good opportunity for medics, vet scientists and then biomedical scientists to work together to really research and work on the common causes and diseases that are happening within the population at present. And then last but not least, we have our College of Science and Engineering. We have about 12 to 15,000 students studying at this college. So again, one of the probably largest colleges of science and engineering in the UK. And we do everything from biological sciences, so that's everything from biotechnology right through to zoology. We have chemistry, engineering, where we teach disciplines like civil engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical, structural engineering as well. Geosciences is where you would study subjects like environmental science and sustainability, or geography, for example. We have informatics, which is one of our most extremely popular schools within the university, where you would study subjects like artificial intelligence and computer science. And then we teach mathematics, physics and astronomy as well. And again, within all of these colleges, all of these schools, there's a lot of research and again, interdisciplinary research going on across them all. So in terms of our degree programs and how they are structured, so we always want to make you aware that as a world-class university, all of our degree programs are internationally recognised. And you'll know that the number of students that we get internationally, so as I mentioned, 160 different nationalities studying with us, around about 20,000 students each year from outside of the UK studying with us. The degree programs are internationally recognised. You can happily go back to your home country where the degree programme will be recognised by employers or other universities you might want to study at. Now, we're offering close to 400 undergraduate degree programmes across 58 subject areas. So it's hard maybe not to find a degree programme that would fit with your interests at the university, but I want to explain a little bit more about how you can be quite flexible in the subjects that you study when you first come to the University of Edinburgh. And I'll discuss that and explain that in a slide or two's time. Now, in terms of the academic year, it might differ a little bit to maybe what you're used to in the Philippines, but generally we're set up for 2 11-week semesters and exams happen at the end of each semester. So the first semester usually begins in mid-September through to the end of December, and then second in January and May. And that means in the summer, you get time off. So really good time for you to travel, to get an internship, do research projects, or pick up a part-time or full-time summer job. So really good opportunities for you to have that break before you move into your next year of study. So in terms of the degree structure, I mentioned before that in Scotland, we have our own parliament, which makes decisions on the education system. Now, education in Scotland differs quite significantly to the rest of the UK in that their degree programs are 3 years in duration, whereas ours are 4 years in duration. Now, for those of you who have maybe looked at the United States as a possible study destination, you'll know that the 4-year degree structure is a little bit more typical. And I would say, well, I know that the US often mirrored their degree structure on the Scottish degree structure, so you'll find them very similar. I would say that the Scottish degree structure sits quite comfortably in the middle of that 3-year UK structure and the 4-year US structure. So in the UK and the rest of the UK, you have to be quite narrow in your focus and specialism quite early on. So there's little flexibility sometimes to maybe pick up classes outside of your main subject area. Now in the US, you'll know that in the first 2 years of study, you tend to be extremely flexible and you have to take on classes, sort of core curriculum or core education classes in subjects like English or maths, maybe physical education. And that's why I mean Scotland sits in the middle. You tend to be focused in applying for a specific degree subject, but you can take outside courses. Now, those outside courses are not core education, so you can ditch maths, you can ditch English if you're not interested in those. The outside courses can often be in a related or different subject. So as an example, if you come to the University of Edinburgh to study history, in your first year, you might do a couple of classes in history each semester, but then you can pick up a class in maybe philosophy or anthropology or archaeology or even business and marketing. So you really get to be flexible in trying to broaden your knowledge and horizons in different subject areas. And that's something that we think is a huge benefit to studying in the Scottish education system. So that happens in the first and second year, and then usually in third year, that's when you're specialising in your degree subject. All of our degree programs really encourage that independent inquiry, critical thinking, and robust reasoning. So you have to be really self-motivated to again go off and do this independent inquiry yourself. So we've just got a bit of a diagram, I suppose, of what the structure usually looks like. Now, one thing that I would say is that this tends not to be applicable for externally accredited or professional degree programs. So as I mentioned, our medicine and vet medicine degree programs are 5 or 6 years in duration, so this doesn't apply here. Some of our engineering degree programs will be accredited by engineering institutes. So again, that wouldn't normally apply. This often, I suppose, this structure could be is mostly linked to arts, humanities, and social science type subjects. So again, as I mentioned, you pick and apply for your main subject, and then you'll choose outside courses from across the sciences, humanities, and social sciences for those first 2 years. In third year, you're specialising in your main subject, and the optional classes you'll usually study are very much linked to the degree subject you're studying. In third year, you also get the really great opportunity to go abroad. Now, of course, if you're coming from the Philippines to study in the UK, you're already studying abroad, but we never say don't limit yourself there. Why not add on an extra semester with one of our partners in Europe or the USA or elsewhere around the world? And in my next slide, I've got some examples of our exchange partners for you to see. So then by the time you get to year 4, you're really becoming the expert in your subject area, you're doing all of your specialist taught classes, and then you're finishing with a dissertation or project. So that tends to be your research piece, which gives you your honours degree programme. Now, what I would say on our website, we have lots of detail about on each of our courses about what you'll study and what the options and compulsory classes are for each of our degree programs. So if you haven't had the chance, I do encourage you to look at our course pages on our website, because you'll get a lot of insights as to what the core compulsory subjects are and which optional classes you might be able to choose. So as I mentioned, we have over 300 exchange partners at the university. So again, really encouraging you to get out and try studying in a different education system. It can really add to your CV or your resume when you finish your studies, just getting that extra insight or international experience as well. So again, these are some of the examples, some of the popular examples about where you can go to study abroad. So again, importantly, a lot of students who come to study with us, one of their main reasons is to increase their employability opportunities for after they've finished studying. So of course, because that's so important to you, that's so important to us. And for that reason, we have an excellent career service. We're really proud to be ranked in the top 50 in the world in the graduate employability rankings by QS. and we've consistently been so over the past number of years. So our career service, they run a lot of different events across the year. We always encourage you to engage with them from year one. There's many students who wait until year 4, a couple of months before graduation. But really try to engage with them as early as possible, because it's always good to develop your skills as early as you possibly can. So you'll see they do fairs, so that's inviting employers to come in and maybe look for interns or look for students who are graduating who want to go work for them. Now, as a world-class university, we do attract a lot of world-class employers. They know the University of Edinburgh, they know the quality of our graduates. So again, some of these big multinational companies coming in to recruit our students as well. Now, we do always encourage developing those transferable skills. And again, we have a lot going on at the university for you to do that through our societies, representation and volunteering. We have an enterprise hub, so a very entrepreneurial university. So we've helped launch over 500 companies with Edinburgh Innovation. So again, if you've got that entrepreneurial spirit in you, the University of Edinburgh is very, very good to help you get on your way with that. And after you've finished studying with us, we have My Career Hub, Platform One, so you can engage with our alumni, look for tips and advice about looking for work after your studies as well. And then I just wanted to highlight at the bottom here our graduate route visa. So this is a new visa that was launched last year in the UK, and it allows international students to stay and work in the UK for 2 years after your graduation. So again, a really great opportunity to pick up some work, get some international experience before moving back home and starting your career there. So I'll touch now on applying to Edinburgh. Edinburgh accepts a wide range of qualifications and lots of international qualifications as well, being such an international university. Now, all of our entry requirements are listed on our website, on our degree finder, and there are 2 different places that you'll want to check. So firstly is on the course page. Now, the course page lists all of our entry requirements for Scottish students, of course, for students who are studying A-levels and for those who are studying the International Baccalaureate. It will tell you the scores that we require, the grades that we require, and also the subject specifics that we require. Now, that's really important to consider, especially if you're in your later years of high school, so that you know you're choosing the right subjects. So for example, if you're coming to study a degree program like engineering, we might ask that you've studied maths and physics, for example, in order to be eligible. Or if you're coming to study medicine, maybe biology and chemistry is a requirement. So always worthwhile checking to make sure that you have the required subjects. The second part that you want to check if you're not studying the A-levels or the International Baccalaureate would be our country pages. So we have all of our international countries that we accept applications for and what the relevant curriculums and grades that we would require. I've got a slide coming up and I've copied that information for the Philippines into this presentation to give you a bit more insight. Now, entry to the University of Edinburgh is extremely competitive and that varies between programmes. We do release all of our admission statistics on our website. So again, always worthwhile checking that to see how competitive a specific degree programme is that you might be applying to. There are some degree programs that have non-academic entry requirements. So work experience, for example, is required for students who are interested in maybe education or vet medicine. Interviews, if you're coming to study a subject like nursing, for example, and then a portfolio if you're interested in art and design, or even an audition if you're interested in music, for example. All of this information is always listed on the website. So again, if you're interested, just have a good look there and you'll be able to find information and more information on that. So in terms of undergraduate students who are interested in applying to us from the Philippines, so as I mentioned, we accept a range of international qualifications like the GCE A-levels, the International Baccalaureate, and standardized tests. So if you're used to the US system, we do accept SATs, ACTs, and APs. In terms of the Philippines High School Diploma, unfortunately, we cannot accept that for direct entry to the university's bachelor programs. So you would require a foundation year if you were interested in coming to study with us. So I just want to introduce that International Foundation Programme now. So it's a 1-year IFP, and that would be followed by your 4-year bachelor degree programme. So in total, you would study with us for 5 years because of that foundation year. Now, it starts in September like any of our other undergraduate degree programmes, and you are a part of the University of Edinburgh from the minute that you enrol with us. So the International Foundation Programme isn't run by a different a third party, it's run by the university. Now, the IFP gives you access to the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences. Unfortunately, at present, we don't have any IFP that links you into the College of Science and Engineering or the College of Medicine and Vet Medicine. It is something we're working on, but it will be maybe a couple of years before that programme is up and running. But for those who are interested in the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, you have this route allows you access to over 150 degree programmes. And that includes some of our most competitive degrees at the university. So business, law, international relations, and English literature. There's lots of information on the website that tells you which degree programmes and which routes you need to do. So really interesting and useful to know if you are studying the local high school diploma and you would be interested in doing a foundation year to study with us. Now, in terms of progressing to the bachelor degree, this is a question I often get asked from the IFP is, can I get into the degree programme I want? What will happen if I can't? And so I just listed here what the progression requirements are. So you'll see here it's usually 60% pass mark to be able to progress into your bachelor degree programme. The FEAP is the English for Academic Purposes class, so you'll do a couple of those. But on the next slide, I'll give you an example of what a timetable would look like. So as I mentioned, passing the International Foundation Programme gives you entry to year one of your bachelor degree programme. So not year two, year one. Just really important to note there, as if you're looking at foundation programmes at other universities, you'll notice that maybe sometimes they'll give you advanced entry, whereas at Edinburgh we don't. Now, in terms of the number of students, you'll see the class sizes here are quite small, so only 40 students usually enrol each year, between 40 and 50, I'd say. Last year, 40 students, 96 of those stay on to study at the University of Edinburgh, and we do have a progression rate of around about 85%. So this is in terms of what you'll study. So again, it's 3 different terms, so a little bit different from your bachelor programme where there are only 2 terms, but you'll see here you'll study foundation English for academic purposes and living and learning in Britain. So that's really great for giving you better insights into the education system in the UK, and something again, when you're maybe not used to how we teach in the UK or how we expect you to study, that's a really good insight there. And then you'll see, depending on the type of degree programme you want to move into, there's a lot of different options here in terms of subject specifics. Now, the team who run the International Foundation Programme have a lot of expertise and information about the types of classes you would want to take for progressing into specific degree programmes. So we'll always give you help and advice when choosing your subjects there as well. So I'm just coming up to the end of my presentation now, so I'm good for timing. We should have a lot of time for questions. In terms of costs and how much it costs to study at the University of Edinburgh, the tuition fees do vary per programme. I would say on average, the tuition fees are between £25,000 to £30,000. If you're used to US dollars, that would probably be around about $27,000, $28,000 to kind of $43,000, $44,000 per year. 34, sorry, not 44. So between 28 to kind of $34,000 US dollars a year. Again, that can fluctuate depending on the exchange rate, but just to give you an idea there. In terms of budgeting and living in Edinburgh, we estimate that around about £1,000, £1,100 per month. So it's fairly reasonable in terms of other places within the UK. But as a student, you get lots of access to discounts. So as a really student-friendly city, you'll do that, which is great. Now, in terms of scholarships and funding, I would say at undergraduate level, the scholarships can be quite limited. Sorry, I've just noticed it's the postgraduate link there, but if you go to our main, if you Google the University of Edinburgh scholarship search, it'll come up for you, and I can pop that into the chat box for you after as well. Again, very limited. Majority of our students would self-fund the degree programme or use funding from an external source. So in terms of exploring the university, we have a lot going on in terms of student life, a really vibrant and buzzing students association. Always encourage you to speak to our current students about that. They're definitely the best to tell you about student life and what it's like to study with us. So you'll see this link here allows you to speak to some of the students who are already enrolled with us. And we do also have our virtual visits. So again, letting you go in to look inside some of our buildings, some of the different areas within the university. If you've never had the chance to come and visit Edinburgh or visit the city, we do encourage you to have a look at that, because I think that would be of interest to you to familiarise yourself with what the place is like. Lots of useful websites here in terms of accommodation, in terms of finance, and in terms of our main university website there, ed.ac.uk, giving you lots of information and access in terms of our degree programmes. So that was my quick presentation there. I wanted to give a lot of time for questions. So I will stop sharing my screen now. And I think I can see some Q&A already here. Perfect. So what I will probably do is just start from the top and work my way down. I've got about 13 questions there, so we should have enough time. So the first question here is, what would you say are the qualities that students in your school possess? That's a really good question. And again, it can depend, I suppose, on the subject that you're looking to study. What I would say is that we're looking for really great academic students. So you need to have top grades to get into the University of Edinburgh. So we're looking for really bright, really talented students. But in terms of maybe your own attributes and qualities, we're looking for highly motivated students with a lot of passion for their subject areas. I didn't talk much about the alumni and the famous alumni that have come out of the University of Edinburgh, but if you were to look it up, you know, we have, I think, 20 Nobel Prize laureates who are attached to the university. So a lot of really great people who've gone on to become CEOs of huge companies or inventors. Tell us, show us, you want to be part of that change. The university wants to have, you know, great people coming to study with us. So those are the qualities. We want you to be really proactive, really interested, really motivated in what you want to study. The question here, what are your requirements for Filipino students? So I think I answered that within the presentation there itself. So hopefully you got the answer to that one. We've got, what are your most popular majors? So I would say our most popular within arts, humanities and social sciences, psychology, business, economics, international relations. We do a PPE program, which is politics, philosophy and economics, which is extremely popular. Yeah, I would say those are the main subjects within arts, humanities and social sciences. Did I mention English literature? That's a really popular one. And then in terms of our medicine and vet medicine, of course, medicine and vet medicine are probably our most popular and competitive. And then within science and engineering, we see the majority of our applicants applying for our engineering disciplines. We see them applying for informatics, so computer science and artificial intelligence. And then mathematics as well. We see a lot of applicants applying to us. So I would say across the board, those are our most popular, our most competitive then areas to get into. So the next question here is, do we need an SAT score? So we do accept the SAT. We have the scores listed on our website. So I can get that link for you and pop that in to the chat box there. What I would say is that you can't gain entry with the SAT alone. So we would also require you to have studied some AP subjects, and that's usually to meet the subject specific requirements. So like I mentioned, if you're looking to study engineering, you would want to have, you know, done an AP maybe in mathematics or calculus and then physics as well. So those are the important things. Let me find the chat box again and I'll pop that link in there for you if you can see that. So that's the list to our USA requirements. So yes, normally the SAT plus a couple of AP subjects as well. So hopefully you can see that. I don't think I can do it into the chat. Oh no, I can. Let me see. I can type this into the chat box as well. I'm not sure, into the Q&A box as well. I'm not sure if you can see it from the send. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure you can see it in the chat box. I popped that into that link into the Q&A box for you there as well. So the next question is, how is student life usually at the University of Edinburgh? So I would say it's very vibrant. There's a lot going on. So we actually have almost 300 student societies at the University of Edinburgh. So honestly, it would be pretty impossible to not find, I suppose, someone with the same interests or hobbies as you, or a group to join. And we do everything, some really weird and wonderful societies. Again, I mentioned Harry Potter before. It's difficult for us not to being based in Edinburgh, but we have a Muggle Quidditch society. So, you know, Muggles people are just off playing Muggle Quidditch in the meadows in the area at the back of the university, which is pretty cool. But the Chocolate Society, so if you like to eat chocolate, you can go and find other people that want to eat chocolate. But there are a few more serious ones as well. So again, the Debating Society, the English Literature Society, but you'll always kind of find something. So it's really fun. There's a lot going on, which is really great for students. If you're interested in sport, likewise, we have, I think, 65 sports clubs at the university. So if you're an amateur or beginner, you can pick up a new sport. If you're already practiced or want to play competitively, you can join a team and you'll be able to go and compete with other universities in the UK, which is pretty fun. So again, really encouraging you to do that. But I would say in general, student life, yeah, there's honestly always something going on if you're interested in music, theatre, drama, shopping, retail, eating out, lots going on in Edinburgh. So we've got, I want to study business. Would you recommend the University of Edinburgh? Now, I work at the University of Edinburgh, so of course I'm going to recommend, but I would say the University of Edinburgh Business School is great. So it's actually a triple accredited business school. So what that means is that it has 3 different external bodies who have, I suppose, accredited and attested to the quality of our teaching, research and facilities within our business school. So that's the AMBA, AACSB and EQUIS. So those are the 3 main bodies. Now, only 1% of business schools worldwide are triple accredited. So it's, you know, a huge opportunity to come and study at a university's business school like that. The business school at Edinburgh isn't huge either. So it's actually quite contained in terms of the number of students who study with us. So again, I think that's a really great opportunity for you as a student to not be, I suppose, in a mass of 400, 500, 600 students, maybe all studying one business management degree program, kind of have smaller class sizes as well. And like I mentioned, the university itself has lots of support in terms of careers. We have businesses coming in who want to work with our students. And I would say, yeah, definitely in the business school, they do come a lot for that. So yes, I would definitely say so. But again, do your own research there just to see whether or not Edinburgh and our business school is good for you. So the next question is, what would be an estimate of students' monthly expenses while studying in Edinburgh? So I did just mention that quickly on the last slide, but as I said, around about £1,000, £1,100 per month. So in terms of your rent, your accommodation, you could be expecting to pay anywhere between 400, I suppose, right up until £800 a month. It can depend where you want to live. If you want to live by yourself in a studio apartment on the Royal Mile, which is the centre of Edinburgh, you could be spending close to £1,000 on rent. If you want to share with other students or other friends, maybe with 3 or 4 other people, you could be paying £400 or £500 per month. So it really depends on where you want to live, but the university has lots of support for that. So usually first year undergraduate students and the IFP students are guaranteed accommodation when they come to study with us for that first year. So again, gives you a little bit of time, I suppose, to maybe live in our accommodation for a year before you then need to decide where or which area of the city you want to live in. So yes, around about that for accommodation. Like I say, transport costs can be really minimal because you can walk or cycle a lot of places. Likewise, the rest of your money will be going on social activities, mobile phone costs, and things like that. So the next question, does Edinburgh allow on and off campus jobs for students? So yes, as part of your student visa to study in the UK, you're allowed to work up to 20 hours per week part-time. Now we would probably advise you to maybe only think about working maximum 15 hours per week, just because your studies obviously should take priority and you don't want to stretch yourself too thin. But again, having a part-time job can help develop your skills, develop your employability, make friends outside of the university, improve your English. If English isn't your native language, you can learn some Scottish slang words, which is always a cool thing, or pick up the Scottish accent. And then of course you'll be able to earn some extra money for your social activities. So absolutely, I would say the majority of the jobs are probably off campus. Again, lots retail, hospitality, some office work. So again, we have a huge financial sector which have call centers. So a lot of the time students might work in a call center within the city as well. Our on-campus jobs, we do have student ambassadors, but we do have cafes and libraries. So again, you can sometimes get a kind of assistant position there as well. My career hub that I mentioned on the career slide usually advertises part-time jobs, and each year the careers team usually do a part-time job fair. So again, easier way for you to try and find work if you're looking for it. So the next question, for medicine, can we practice in other places in the UK or just in Scotland? Great question, because I obviously mentioned in terms of studying law, it's usually for those who are interested in practicing in Scotland. Our medicine degree is recognised across the UK, so it's not a different system, if that makes sense. So what you usually do is you'll study 6 years, a 6-year medicine degree with the University of Edinburgh, and that actually includes what we call an intercalated research year. So it actually means that at the end of your degree programme, you graduate with 2 degree programmes. One, of course, being your medicine degree, and the other one being a research specific degree. So that could be in subjects like neuroscience, biomedical sciences, psychology, physiology, and these types of degree programs. So that's why we're 6 years. You'll see some degree programs in the UK are 5 years. After you've studied, after you've graduated from university and you want to work in the UK, you then have to do a 2-year traineeship. And again, that could be all across the UK. So you apply for that and can move to Manchester or London or Birmingham, Glasgow, stay within Edinburgh itself. So yes, in general terms, it's accredited all over the UK. And again, worldwide, it is I suppose it's acknowledged and recognised worldwide. But yeah, what I should say is that there's a General Medical Council, which is what you would apply to when you've graduated, when you want to become a doctor, and that's a UK-wide organisation. So next one, to clarify, if we want to pursue medicine and we only have a Philippine high school diploma, we can't really study in the University of Edinburgh. That's right. So at present, generally the medicine degree programme would require either APs, IB, or A-level subjects. And again, due to the levels of competition, so we actually only have 17 spaces, or actually I think it was 19 last year, so a little bit more spaces for international students. So the competition for those is extremely high, and again, they would usually only consider those international qualifications rather than the high school diploma. So if you were interested, you would need to maybe think about doing AP classes or looking at a different curriculum. The next question was about coming to the University of Edinburgh on a full ride scholarship. Unfortunately, we don't tend to have any full ride scholarships at the University of Edinburgh. So as I mentioned, most students will self-fund their degree programmes or use external sponsorship. So it could be from your local ministry, government, or other body. Or if you're lucky, we do sometimes have small number of merit-based scholarships that can be dependent on the degree programme you want to study. But yeah, I would say in general, not many students coming on a full ride scholarship. So how is the Filipino community in your school? We have a good number. So I would say in general, Filipino students don't know enough about the UK yet, in my opinion. I know that the US is the kind of better known education system. So a lot of students head off to the US every year, and we want you to consider the UK. So I'm very pleased to see so many of you come here today to learn more about that. I think we're probably one of the top 5 institutions in the UK for the number of Filipino students we receive, but I would say the numbers are still quite small, so maybe 20 to 25 Filipino students come to study with us every year. So yes, please consider us and come build on our Filipino student community. But I would say in general, across Southeast Asia, we do have a really large population from that region, so lots of students from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam as well. So again, very much welcoming you to come study with us, which is great. So another question about financial aid, which I think I just answered. So I'll move on to the next one. So if I'm a student if I want to practice medicine in the Philippines, should I still study in Scotland? So yes, as I mentioned before, it's a recognised degree programme, internationally recognised. You would just maybe want to double check in the Philippines with the medical council or whoever I suppose you have to register with to practice as a doctor, that they would consider or recognise a degree from the UK, but I would expect, again, most would. It's a very recognised degree and education system in the UK. So another one, if I'm a student coming from a low-income family, is it still financially feasible for me to study in Scotland? So like I mentioned, in terms of tuition fees, that's normally self-funded, or lots of students will look for external funding. In terms of the cost of living, I would say if we're looking at other capital cities in the UK, like London, Edinburgh is definitely the more reasonable option in terms of your cost of living. But again, it's high. The University of Edinburgh charge high in tuition fees. There are other universities in the UK and in Scotland who might have lower tuition fees, if that would be of more interest to you. But yes, in general, it can be, you know, it's a big financial investment to study overseas. And then my last question I have here is, if we take AP tests, can we apply directly to the 4-year course instead of doing the IFP? Yes, definitely. So typically we would normally look for 3 AP subjects, normally a grade 4, but if you're applying for really competitive degree programs, having grade 5 will definitely make you a stronger candidate. But yes, you would apply for direct entry to first year of the bachelor degree program rather than to the IFP as well. So absolutely. We've got, can you do a double major or can we add a minor? Great question, and absolutely. So I mentioned we have over 380 what we call single or joint honours degree programs. So I suppose this is a difference in terminology in the UK versus the US. So it's pretty much the same as the US terminology of double or major or minor subjects, double major or minor subjects. We call them either single honours or joint honours programs. So a joint honours program would be if you were studying a subject like law and finance, or business and French. We do lots of different combinations like that. So what I would encourage you to do is, on our website, I'll just maybe pop that link into the box there for you, so that you can see quite easily what I am talking about. So we have a big long list of the A to Z of all our degree programs. But what you can always do is you can go in there and have a look, and say you're not really too sure what you're interested in. You maybe are looking for something to do with business, but you don't know what all the options are. You'll just click on business and it'll give you every possible combination that we have with business. So again, that can be up to 25 different subjects. So that's really useful as well. And then lastly, what is the reason not to study in your school? I feel like that question is probably best answered by someone who's studying there just now. Again, I wouldn't say there are any particular reasons not to study at the University of Edinburgh. Now, there are many students who don't get the opportunity to study with us because the competition to get a place with us is extremely high. So just to give you an idea, last year we received almost 80,000 applications for those 380 bachelor degree programs. So lots of students coming to study with us. Unfortunately, many of those don't get the opportunity. So yes, not sure how best to answer why not to study with us. I think it's a great university. I'm from the city of Edinburgh itself, so I can't recommend a city to live, work and study in more than Edinburgh. But yeah, I think that's probably for your own research if you want to find a reason not to study with us. Perfect. Okay, so I think I have got through all of the questions with 3 minutes to spare. So thank you so much for coming to listen to me today. I think we'll probably get some of your contact details if you want to get in touch again, ask any more specific questions. More than happy to do that. Hopefully I will visit the Philippines at some point this year. Of course, with the pandemic, I've not been able to leave the UK much, but I usually travel in the Southeast Asia region quite a few times per year. So yes, fingers crossed I might be your way in a few months' time. But thank you so much for coming to listen to me today, and I'll pass you back over.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Louise. I'm sure I can speak for everyone when I say we learned a lot about the University of Edinburgh, and I hope you guys are going to consider it when applying abroad. I can tell you all that I've been to Edinburgh and actually been in campus. And it's a very lovely city, and some of my good friends are currently studying there and they're enjoying it very much. So yeah, so to everyone here, if you're interested in staying in touch with Louise and learning even more about the University of Edinburgh, go ahead and fill out the interest form here with your contact details, and we'll send them over to Louise. And I put a link to the chat, and it's also in our camp link tree. So just scroll down to the appropriate day and find the name of University of Edinburgh. And that concludes our session for today. A big thank you once again to Louise and all the attendees for joining us. The college on the call for after this would be the University of Adelaide, I think. If you'd like to stay for that, please stay in the Zoom call. And again, yes, thank you so much, Louise, for taking your time and presenting about Edinburgh. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Hello, everybody. There you go. Speaker is already with us, so I think I can start. Hi.
Hello, hi there.
Welcome to camp. I'll just do a little intro first so that we can get you started. But if you want to start sharing screen or setting up, that's definitely fine too, if you have a presentation with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so hello to our conference participants. This is the second session of the day. University of Edinburgh just went. If you missed that, then just find the recording later on our website. But first things first, thank you to our sponsors, Princeton Review Philippines, AUG Student Services, LIMS Review Center, Study International Philippines, AIM Review Center, ICLA at Yamanashi Gakuen, Queen's University, and Syracuse University. But now I am happy to present today's speaker representing the University of Adelaide. This is Harris. They will be here with us for an hour to present about academics, student life, and more in the university. So to our attendees, at any point in the talk, if you have any questions for them, please drop them in the Q&A feature. They can get to it after the talk, and I will also link an interest form in the chat if you want your contact details to be forwarded to them later. Just scroll down to the appropriate day. I will send that once they start talking. To our speakers, is it okay also if the session is recorded so we can show this to the people that can't attend live?
Yep, absolutely.
Nice.
No worries.
Thank you. So without further ado, let's go.
All right, so thank you for the nice and warm introduction. So good evening, everyone. So my name is Harris. I'm the country representative for the University of Adelaide in the Philippines, but actually I'm based in Indonesia, but I travel a lot to Philippines. So at some point we may see each other in person because there's a lot of upcoming education exhibitions coming and also the school fair. So I hope to see you guys in one of the events that we're attending in the Philippines. So again, today, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining the sessions. Today, I'm just gonna talk a very brief information about University of Adelaide and what Adelaide has to offer for international students. So this is what I'm gonna speak about. So we're gonna experience Adelaide a little bit. So some points about the University of Adelaide, our study programs, and of course our scholarship availability and our contact number. So if you have any further questions or you need any detailed information about the campus or about the programs, feel free to contact me and we'll be happy to connect with one of you in the future. So this is my name. I'm the Students Recruitment Manager in the Philippines. This is my email and also this is my WhatsApp number. I'm always contactable through these communications, emails or WhatsApp. So, okay, so I think I just gonna start with the overview about the city itself. Adelaide has several nicknames. So it's known as the 20-minute city. It's known as the replica or the mini Melbourne, because obviously our city is very well planned. So if you see on your screen, it is our CBD area in Adelaide. It's surrounded by parkland. So they call it 20-minute city because it's really complex. So when they design the city, they want everything to be in the center of the city. So like shopping area, central business, university, and all the tourism spots are under the CBD area. So it's really convenient. So the idea is why it is called the 20-minute city, because from one point at the CBD to the other part in Adelaide, you can reach within 20 minutes. So it's really convenient. Some say they call it like a mini Melbourne because of the familiarity, the similarity of the city layout. We are a bit similar with Melbourne. We have this Instagrammable old building across our city. And we have the same transportation system. So we have tram within our CBD, which is kind of Melbourne type kind of thing. So they call it as a mini Melbourne as well. But the most important thing about Adelaide is we are regarded as one of the most livable city, not just in Australia, but also in the world. So from the Economist 2021 Global Livability Ranking, so starting 2019 until 2021, really proud to say this, that we beat Melbourne and we beat Sydney, and we become the #1 most livable city in Australia. And not just that, we also in the 3rd position for the most livable city in the world. So the #1 is Auckland, second one is Osaka in Japan, and we are representing Australia as the #3 most livable city in the world. So they usually look at different factors like economic stability, the infrastructures, the health index, education's quality. But I think the most important part of this livability is on the people and the culture itself. So I think you can find the most friendliest people in Adelaide are living. You can find the most friendliest people in Australia are living in Adelaide. So for us, who just gonna go to Australia for study abroad for the first time, I don't think you will find any difficulties in settling in with the new cultures in Australia. Everyone is so loving, everyone is so friendly. So I hope that really help you settling in with the new cultures a lot. So if you still unaware where is Adelaide located, so we're located in the central of Australia, but more to the south of the island. So we are next to the Melbourne. We also next to Sydney. So if you would like to go to Melbourne during your term break or your semester break, you can reach Melbourne like 45 minutes flight from Adelaide. There is a direct flight, and of course to Sydney as well. It's about 1 hour flight difference between Adelaide and Sydney. So don't worry if you miss Sydney or you miss Melbourne, it's just like 1 hour away and you can go to Sydney or Melbourne. Our campus is greatly and strategically located in the center of CBD. So it's within the North Terrace area. So if you see on the left screen of yours, you can see the University of Adelaide there. It's really convenient. We are just across the biggest shopping area in Adelaide. So we are located across the Rundle Mall area. Next to our campus, we have the South Australia Museum. It's next to the Parliament House. We also have the State Library there. We are close to the Adelaide Railway stations, and Adelaide Central Market is only like 20 minutes away by walking. For those of you who want to pursue your study in science, health, and medical programs, we have another building. So if you move your eyes to the right side of the screen, there will be the Adelaide Health and Medical Science building. and it's located in the Royal Adelaide Hospital. Now, Royal Adelaide Hospital is one of the biggest and also one of the most advanced hospital in Australia. So our students who are taking medicine, dentistry, health and medical science will have their own specific building, because we also have the simulations class running on the Royal Adelaide Hospital. Of all the advantages of studying Adelaide, how the city is very compact and quite convenient for the students, and our hiring in our livability, it doesn't mean that we have a very expensive living cost expenses. In fact, Adelaide is #1, also the most affordable mainland city in Australia. So if you compare to another capital city in Australia like Sydney or like Melbourne, we are 12 to 14% much more affordable in terms of our living costs. So in a month, you will need to spend around 1,600 to 1,800 Australian dollars, and it's already include like the accommodations, utility bills, groceries, and also the transportations as well. The weather is a bit different with what we used to have in Manila, Cebu, or another part of the Philippines. It's more into the Mediterranean weather. So during summer, usually on December and February, the degree would be around 30 to 35, and when the heat wave strike, sometimes it could reach like 40 degrees Celsius. And in winter, it's also really convenient for us, like most Asian people, because it's still within 8 to like 10 degrees Celsius. So it's still convenient for us during summer and also the winter. Another thing why Adelaide is called the 20-minute city, because if you see on your screen here, it's the Glenelg Beach. So it's on the west part of Adelaide. And this winery in the back is usually on the north or south of Adelaide. So if you see on the background, there's the Adelaide Hills there. And on the other parts of the Adelaide, you can see this coastal line of beautiful beaches. So you can reach the Adelaide Hills or the beautiful beaches within 20 minutes drive from the CBD area. If you are wondering how the students' life looks like in Adelaide, I have this one quick video to show you what our students usually did during their free time, how the campus looks like, and some shopping area around the campus. So here you go.
Hi, I'm Fan. I came back from Vietnam to Australia, and I'm so excited to study my uni degree at University of Adelaide. Now the whole inner city is my campus. Let me show you around. Let's go. I started off with a morning lecture in Adelaide's commercial heart. You can really feel the vibe of the city. But before that, I love to get a coffee. Next, let's do a little bit of shopping, shall we? Rona Mall is right on our doorstep, with hundreds of shops to choose from. And when you're hungry, it's easy to find a taste of home, wherever you're from. All right, let's do some more learning. We love studying here in the University Hub. It's right in the middle of the campus, and it's so comfy. Now, time to unwind. A quick walk with my friend will always clear my head. We love to play games by the rivers and have some fun. Alright, it's time to head home. Our bus will have me there in just a few minutes. Staying so close, I always feel safe and connected. So, that's a wrap on my campus. I hope you will have the opportunity to join me at the University of Adelaide soon.
Okay, so that's about the student's life in Adelaide. So just to recap why Adelaide is another cities that you can consider as your future study destination. Of course, the number one is on the affordability. We have a very compact CBD where you can spend less on the transportation costs. We are the number one most affordable capital city in Australia. You can feel the very vibrant atmosphere and our natural beauty of Adelaide as the number one most developed city in Australia. And also, if you would like to stay in Australia after you finish your study, you will also have a benefit for the post-study work visa because we are considered as one of the regional area in Australia. So you will have an additional 1 year post-study work visa. So for those of you who are completing bachelor degree, you will have the opportunity to stay for a maximum 3 years after you finish your study. A comparison with Sydney or Melbourne, you only able to stay like 2 years. And if you would like to pursue your postgraduate programs, after you graduate from a 2 years programs, you can stay up to 4 years at least. In total, including your study, you can stay almost like 6 years after you 6 years, including your study and the post-study work visa. I always told this to the students, so it's really the right time for you to go to Adelaide in the next 3 to 5 years ahead because there's a lot of development that being invested in Adelaide by our federal government. So they have this budget boost for award-winning AI research. So Adelaide has nominated as one of the smart cities in Australia. And the other important thing is we also have this development going on called Lot 14. So I'm sure you are familiar with the Silicon Valley in US. So the idea is Australia will develop their own Silicon Valley. They call it Lot 14 and it's located in Adelaide. Another best thing about this Lot 14 is located just next to our campus and our School of Computer Science and computer technology. We already had this research institute called Australia Institute for Machines Learning. So at the moment, it's the biggest and the largest research institute that related to AI, machine learning, or computer science. Some big names like I think I'm sure you already familiar with these names like Google Cloud, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, the electric car, they already had their company running in Adelaide. So I always thought that there will be a huge opportunity for you to find job or to secure your dream job in Adelaide after you finish your programs. Another development that we have at the moment is
This is Lot.
Sorry. Okay. Hang on, let me continue. Sharing again my screen. So another development that we had, we called the Adelaide Biomed City. So remember when I said the health and medical science students will study in their own specific building, it's located next to the Royal Adelaide Hospital. And now that area is become the premises for the Adelaide Biomed City. So the federal government again also invested a lot of budgets to make Adelaide as the center of the biomed health medical science research area in Southern Hemisphere in Australia. So again, the Royal Adelaide Hospital is already become one of the biggest and the most advanced hospital in Australia. So if you would like to pursue any career in science, health, and medical science, this is also one of our industry strength in Adelaide. There's another plenty industry strength. Actually, we are also strong in our tourism, hospitality, because we obviously is the number one best wine producer in Australia. And also, if you are looking for a creative industry, you must be familiar with Technicolor company, or we have the Rising Sun Pictures. So the Rising Sun Picture is one of the company like the 3D company that help a lot of Hollywood movies like Marvel, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. they have their head office, their base operations in Adelaide. Talking about the university itself, so our university, we're really proud that we are the third oldest university in Australia. We were founded in 1874, and in the next year, we're going to celebrate our 150-year celebrations. So it's along the way, we have produced a lot of Nobel Prizes. We have produced a lot of Olympians. So there's a lot of rich history and a lot of accomplishment that we have achieved during those years. And we are part of the group of 8 members. So we represent the best 8 universities in Australia, including within the same group like University of Melbourne, Monash, but we represent the capital of South Australia. So I think in the next slide, actually, I have another one quick video to show our reputations in University of Adelaide and what we have achieved so far from the past 148 years since we are established. Here you go, guys.
Okay, are you ready? The first university to admit women, 2 Nobel Prizes, then another, then a couple more, 12 knighthoods, 22 Olympians, a pack of COVID-sniffing canines, Australia's first female Prime Minister. Finally, treatments for diseases and other scary things, the first female Queen's Counsel, Supreme Court Judge and State Governor, all in one, first in the family with a degree, a black belt, a robot, first Aussie to walk in space, helped detect gravitational waves, made lots of babies, world top 100 in all this stuff. Launched a satellite, revived lost languages, home to 1,600 brainiacs, and a winery, all in the heart of Australia's most livable city. So, what's next? Make history at the University of Adelaide.
Okay, so that's about our reputation so far. In terms of our leadership and ranking, we are highly regarded as one of the highly intensive research universities in the world. So if you see a lot of these ranking organizations from Times Higher, QS, ranking, we are consistently in the top 100 best universities in the world. I see a lot of questions coming up, so I'll make sure I'll spend some time at the end of my presentations to answer all questions live. Okay? So these are our top and our most popular subjects in Australia. So we have a very strong ranking in terms of our computer science. Of course, subjects related to health and medical science. We also have a lot of subjects under engineering and science that are ranking under the top 100 best subjects taught in the world. We have this architecture or built environment, science, technology, and engineering, and also some businesses programs. From day one, you study in our campus. We are not only building your academic skills, but we always encourage students to secure and to develop their employability. That's why we also ranking number 1 in South Australia for our graduate employability. Our graduate is highly sought after in Australia, and there are several reasons why our students are on that position. We have a very excellent career service team that always help you to develop your employability while you're studying. I have that explanations at the end of the slide, but after this, I'm gonna talk you further into our subjects area. So just to recap, we are part of the group of 8 members. We are way in the top 1% or top 100 best universities in the world. So I think we really offer our rare combinations and a very complete package, because you study in the one of the best universities in Australia. You will study in the most livable city in Australia. In terms of the living cost, we are the most affordable city in Australia. And if you're thinking to stay in Australia after you graduate, we also had this migration pathway opportunity. So you have bonus points for your PR. You have additional post-study work visa as well. So I think Adelaide is really worth for you if you want to consider your future study in Australia. We have 3 campuses, guys. So the CBD campus, we call it the North Terrace. We also have campus specifically for animal science or FAT. We have that facility in our Roseworthy campus. So it's about 45 minutes away from our main campus in CBD. And we also have Wade campus. So Wade campus is more into the agricultures and also the winery programs. It's located south from CBD, so it's about 20 minutes away from our North Terrace campus. So it's just a quick explanations about how will be your lifestyle when you're studying in the University of Adelaide. So if you see those big red block there, it is our North Terrace campus. Just across our main campus, we have the student accommodations. We call it Urbanes, or starting this year, they kind of like rebranding their accommodations, and now we call it Scape. And the other accommodations is, if you see on the left side here, you can see the village is our own premium managed university accommodations. It's closer to Chinatown and closer to Adelaide Central Market. So it really depends on your preferences. If you would like to stay like closer to the campus, I think Urbanes or Scape might be the best options. But if you want to stay closer to Chinatown, find groceries, to find a good food to eat, you can stay in the village too. So if you're wondering what is this green color, purple or blue or orange colors here, connecting some point of interest in our CBD. So that is our free transportation facility provided by the Adelaide City. So because we're located in the CBD, in the city center, so we have plenty of free transportations that you can always rely on. So we have this free tram zone, we have the free City Connector bus, we have City Loop free bus, and if you are staying in the village, we also have the Uni Village shuttle from and to the campus. So you can imagine we're already one of the most affordable city in Australia. And if you just like want to go around the CBD, because everything is mostly located in the CBD area, you can like spend a very minimum expense as well for your transportation, because you can utilize all these free transportations within the campus. So this is just some of our facilities. So we have our own Adelaide Health and Medical Sciences building. We have our own Vet Science world-class facility in terms of the Doctor of Veterinary or the Animal Science and Animal Behavior. We have some simulations class for our dental, our kitchen lab for our food science, and also the business. We have the finance lab as well. And I think the most favorite facilities for all students is Hub Central. So because that's the central place for your study spaces, and also the canteen, the bar, and everything is within the Hub Central. So talking about the studies area, we have these 3 faculty. We have Faculty of Art, Business, Law, and Economics. We have Health and Medical Science. We have the Faculty of Science, Engineering, and Technology. So I won't speak too much into details about this faculty, but just to give you some idea about what subjects that are being taught under this faculty. So we have this social science, humanities, music, and teaching programs like art, international relations, media, if you are more into the 3D or visual design. We have media, we have music, and we also have teaching and education. Next one, of course, is science, technology, and engineering and mathematics. And one of our most popular programs under this faculty is our engineering, our computer science, our data science, AI, and machine learning. Obviously, because Adelaide is the capital of defense in Australia, and we're gonna be the central of all these high-tech company in Australia. So we try to gather all investor, all company that are related to AI, machine learning into Adelaide. So that's also one of our strongest programs so far. We have biomedical, we have cyber security, and also we have agriculture, food and wine programs. We have health and medical sciences program. So our dentistry and medicines program is among one of the best in Australia. Dentistry, we are the ranking #1 best dentistry school in Australia. And for medical programs, we are the third best universities for medical programs. Last but not least, of course, we have business. We have subjects around business, law, and also economics. So later I'm gonna provide you with all these important links. So if you would like to download our brochures, if you want to check our complete programs into more detail, you can go to our degree finance as well. So how to apply? So unfortunately, I'm gonna start with the good news first. So we can accept for bachelor degree program. So we only accept now the international qualifications like IB or A-level. So for those of you who are studying K-12 in your high schools, at the moment we don't accept you to direct entry, but you can go to our foundations, or soon you can go to our diploma after you finish your K-12, and it's equivalent to the first year of university. There's a lot of work in the background, and hopefully within next year we can accept K-12 curriculum directly into the programs. But for now, this is how the diagrams looks like. So for IB and A-level, you can go to the direct entry. And for K-12, you need to go to our foundations and diploma. So our diploma, our foundations is taught from the University of Adelaide College. If you would like to go into the postgraduate programs, it's more simple. So as long as you finish your higher education programs with a certain minimum of GPA, you can go directly into the program in the university. Of course, you need to check the entry requirement, because some of the programs will require you to have like a linear or a related background in certain topics. But I think most programs we could accept all students from any background, especially with the businesses programs. So next one, we have these scholarships. So I see some of you are also asking about scholarships. So we have these 5 scholarships. If you have any immediate family who already studied at university, you can get automatically 25% fee reductions. We also have the alumni scholarship. So if you are a returning students, like already take the bachelor and continue to masters, like you can get this 25%. But I think the most applicable one for you is the first, the Global Citizen Scholarships or the Global Academic Scholarships. So remember, we can accept IB or A-level, but not K-12. So at this moment, this Global Citizen Scholarships is only available for international curriculum students who are taking IB or A-level with this minimum score. So the idea is to get this GPA 5 out of 7. So it's almost like 70% from your total score. So if you are taking IB, you will need to get a minimum of 29. And if you are taking an A-level curriculum, you need to get a minimum of 9 or 3C. And if you would like to go to the postgraduate, if we are using the scale of 1 to 4, you will need to get a minimum of 2.8. And if you use the scale of 1 to 10, it will be around 70 to 75. And for the 30% scholarships, it's IB 34, A-level 12 or 3B. And for the university GPA, scale 1 to 4, it will be 3.4, or 1 to 10, it will be 80 to 85. You don't need to submit any application for these scholarships. So you just need to submit your applications to our admissions. It will be automatically assessed based on your academic performance. So you don't need to provide like motivations letter. We don't require you to like provide any leadership experience. You won't need to attend any interview because it's merely will based on the academic assessment. Another good thing about this scholarship, it's still available until 2025. So if you're like currently in your 5th or 6th semester of your study in your bachelor, or you're still in the year 11 or even the year 10, don't worry. This scholarship will still be available and eligible for you to apply until 2025. This 15 or 30 scholarship, 30% scholarships will be applied for the whole study durations. So if you're taking like a 3 years programs, you'll get the fee reduction from the first until your third year. And if you're get this 30%, you also get this 30% fee reduction from the first until the third year of your study. What else about this scholarship? Oh, another thing, the second scholarships that might be eligible for is the Global Academic Scholarship. So it's the highest fee reductions that we have. So we have this 50% fee reductions, but unlike the Global Citizen Scholarships, we have a very limited quota for this scholarship. So we only have like 2 scholarships available for each faculty per intake. So you can imagine it's very highly competitive, and you need to get almost a perfect score for your IB or your university GPA to be eligible for the program. So in terms of the student support, I see some questions about how diverse our cities are. So don't worry, our Adelaide city is very diverse and the community is very loving. We have this Filipino Student Associations Club in our campus. So if you're kind of missing like the CC or anything, you can just join the club. There's some free food and some activities within your fellow Filipino friends. Philippines is one of our important partner in Adelaide. So in terms of the diversity, Philippines is among the top 15 country in terms of the source of our international students. So you can imagine how important is our relationship with the Philippines. So we have this new students airport pick up. We have this extracurricular or club societies, but I just would like to highlight our career hub as I promised earlier in my presentations. So we have this award-winning career service team, and they actually are there to support you to find and secure your job after you graduate. So from day one, they provide you with a lot of seminar. They provide you with a lot of workshop, like how to create your CV, how to attend interview based on the Australian culture. And the important thing is they have this career hub portal. So it's like, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's like a job portal, like Job Street portal. So basically all students will have access to this career hub. And if you would like to find like any part-time internship or full-time job, you can just log in into this career hub portal, and you can see all the available positions in Adelaide at that moment. So you can also apply. There's way to contact the industry partners, so you just need to submit. Aside from this, we also arrange an annual career fair every year. So we invite our industry partners to open the booth in our campus, and also you can attend like the in-person during the career fair as well. If you have difficulties with your languages, your writing skill, we have this language. And if you're into knowing a different cultures while you're studying, we also have this Global IQ Connect. It's basically like a cultural exchange program where we connect international students to the domestic students so they can learn from each other about the differences between each faculty. So it's really important, especially if you are coming into the workforce, because you met a lot of people from a different background, from a different culture. So it's really important to know how we see things from the differences from the different culture perspective. Okay, so this is about the end of my presentation. So I just would like to update about our COVID-19 policy. So as you have probably known, from February, we already opened our international border. So we always welcome international students to join the face-to-face class. And for this second intake, which is in July, we already back into the face-to-face learning. So we encourage students to attend the full face-to-face classes, although some classes they might have some online classes, but I think majority now 80-90% will be back into the face-to-face classes. All right, so I'm gonna provide this in the chat box. So if you would like to know further about our COVID-19 policy, you can go to the first website. If you want to check into more details about the scholarships, you can go to the scholarship website. If you want to look around the campus, see how is our facility, our hub central, you can go on the field walkthrough. If you would like to download our latest brochures, you can do here as well. And if you already decided on what programs that you want to take, you can check the degree structures, the entry requirements, the study plans, the English requirements on the Degree Finder website. Yeah, so I think that's about my presentations today. So thank you again, guys, for joining. I hope that helps and give you a clearer view about Adelaide University and also the Adelaide City as the study destination itself. So I really looking forward to welcome you on campus and encourage you to make history with the University of Adelaide. So with that, I would like to end my presentation for today. Thank you again for joining, and I hand it back to the host and also to the committee of this session. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Do you still want to go through the Q&A and answer questions, or do you have to run?
I can check some and I can answer some of it. So hang on.
I can also read. Do you want me to read them out, or do you want to answer the ones that you want?
No, I think that might be easier if I just see it myself and just answer it. Thank you for the help.
No problem.
So is Adelaide a diversity? I've already explained that Filipino community is really strong there. We have these Filipino student associations. If you kind of miss your Filipino community, so don't worry about that. Everyone is so loving. You will meet a lot of Southeast Asia students, European and also the domestic student. So we have around 20,000 students every year, and 33% out of it are coming from our international cohort. So you meet a lot of diverse and different person on your study. Do you offer financial aid or scholarships? I've answered that. So we have 5 scholarships available, but I think the most applicable one for it is the Global Citizen Scholarships, the 15 or 30% fee reductions. The popular majors, I might say the first one might be health and medical programs because that's the highest ranking subjects that we have. The second one might be the computer science, artificial intelligence, and all technology related programs because we have this lot 14 development going on. We also kind of strong in terms of our world ranking for the computer science subjects. And probably some of our engineering and education programs. Can we work in Australia after our degree? Well, basically, you can actually start working while you're studying. I know I cannot promote this, but on your student visa, you are able to study, you are able to work like 20 hours in a week. Of course, it's not a full-time employment, but you can always work part-time. And after you finish your degree, you can apply for the post-study work visa, and you can use that visa to work in Australia after you graduate. Does Adelaide allow on and off-campus job for students? Yep, we have some casual job on campus, and of course, for off-campus job, we allow students to take any part-time job. One interesting fact about Adelaide is it's also known for a festival city. So in a year, we have around like 400 festivals going on every year. So hang on, let me share this with you as well. So we have several festivals going on, and I think the most popular one is running up now. So if you check your Instagram or Google, you can see Illuminate Adelaide. So they like a city festival, the light festival during winter. So it's really nice. Where is it? Hang on, I have the list of the festival. Yep. We had this Adelaide Fringe. We have World of Music Adelaide. We have the if you are more into sport, I'm sure you must familiar with the Tour Down Under. It's the cycling international event. So we also have the Christmas pageants event as well. So with all this festival, it opens a lot of opportunity for you to take off-campus or casual jobs during your breaks or during your study as well. So don't worry. And if you check our Study Adelaide website, so it's our official study website from our government, they also promote this website called the Job Shop website. Where is it? Here you go. So actually, you can secure any casual job even before you're traveling to Adelaide. So you just need to go to this job shop and you can see a lot of available casual job around the city on this website. So it's really convenient. The estimate of monthly expenses while studying in Adelaide is about 1,800. Of course, there will be no maximum cap about how much you want to spend, but normally 1,600 to 1,800. In comparison, if you would like to compare with Sydney or Melbourne, I think Sydney or Melbourne, you will need a minimum of 2,500 in a month. So we are like 700 less for the monthly living expenses. We're talking like a 3 years or a 2 years program. So it's going to make a huge difference in terms of saving some money for your tuition fee or saving money for yourself. Okay. Okay, so if students graduate with health or medical science degree in Australian university, will they be allowed to practice in Australia after? Yep, absolutely. If we're talking like the Bachelor of Medical Studies and our Doctor of Medicine programs, the program is accredited by the Australia Practitioner of Health Association. So once you finish those 6 years programs, you will be eligible to go into the housemanship or some internship in the teaching hospital. So once you finish that additional 2 years internship or housemanship, you will be eligible to apply as a GP, as the general practitioner in Australia. But if you're taking programs like health and medical science, there might be differences because it's not a Doctor of Medicine program. So even though you are studying health and medical science, but the objective of that program is not to become a doctor, but like to really go into like a research of pharmaceutical or drugs or viruses. So it's a different path as the Doctor of Medicine programs. Any popular programs that Adelaide is known for, of course, our health medicines, food sciences, computer science, also some businesses, education, and engineering. Can students initiate their own society? Yeah, of course. Maximum number of this that a student can do? No, actually, we have like around 130 social clubs. We don't have any maximum numbers limited to any student. So as long as you can join and it didn't affect your study plan, you can go join as many of your societies or even maybe start your own organizations. You need to speak with the union or the University of Adelaide Students' Union if you would like to create your own societies or organizations. What is the foundations program and how does it differ from direct entry admissions? So, okay, so for foundations programs, the foundations is like the pre-university programs because at the moment we don't accept students from K-12. So it's like the pre-university between, the program is sit between your high school and the direct entry of the university. So let me share quickly my screen. So you need to check to the University of Adelaide College. So they have several pathway programs. They have foundations and also the diploma, or we call it the degree transfer programs. So for foundations program, so this is how the overview looks like. So once you finish the year 12 or the year 11 or year 12 with K-12, you go to the 10 months foundations program. So after you finish the foundations, you go to the first year of university. And what about the degree transfer? Degree transfer is a diploma program. So it's unlike the foundations program. So degree transfer is equivalent to the first year of university. So after you finish your year 12, you go into this degree transfer program and you start your university year on the second year, not the first year. So it will be, I think, the one of the better options now, and we on a discussion to start accepting students for K-12 students into our diploma, but we'll see how it goes. But for now, we only accept students from K-12 to foundations programs. It's also related to the foundations here. Does that guarantee the progressions to the University of College? So it also depends on your score, because if you check here, there are several subjects that you need to take on the foundations level. So for example, maybe you would like to go into the business, but you're coming from the K-12. We have like 3 intake for these foundations, like the standard and the accelerated one. So these are the list of subjects that you need to take from your foundations. And these are the progressions GPA that you need to get as the minimum entry requirement. So as long as you pass 70%, 74, or even 70% from this entry requirement, you will be guaranteed to progress to the first year of university, except from the medicines program. Because for medicines program, there will be additional assessment, except from the aside from the academic requirement. You need to sit on an interview, you need to sit on a UCAT and Z-test as well. I hope that helps. Is it possible to study in Australia without spending anything on tuition? I think that might be difficult for your current circumstances, because from where I came, so in Indonesia we had these government scholarships where we give students with a fully funded scholarships, but in Filipino, as far as I recall, your government currently don't have that scholarships for the undergraduate program. So the only available scholarship is Australian Award, but it's more into the postgraduate programs. But for the undergraduate, I think we don't have that government scholarships at the moment. And the last questions that we have: how much are the tuition fee in the University of Adelaide for the pre-med programs like health? So for our direct entry programs like the Doctor of Medicines, the tuition fee, let me check. So I think it's around 79,000 Australian dollars in a year, but hang on, let me check and reconfirm. So, okay, just to quickly give you some info about how to browse around our degree. So you can go to this degree finder, adlib.edu.au/degree finders. So once you are into this website, you can browse our degree based on our subjects area. So for example, we are looking for a health and medical science program. We can just click health and medical science. You can see some point about how good our campus, what are the majors, how the faculty's performance so far. And you must filter based on the study level. So like, for example, we are talking for a Doctor of Medicine programs, you filter with the undergraduate, and you can check here the list of programs that sit within this subjects area. So for the medicines programs, the medical studies, the total tuition fee will be, you can see here the duration, start dates, the entry requirement. You can also see here the how to apply to the programs, entry requirements, the IELTS requirements, and also the fee. So the international student place for 2023, because 2022 we already closed the applications, so it will be around 83,500 Australian dollars in a year. So it's a 6 years program, so you need to times 6 for the total tuition fee for this medicine. Okay, so I think that's all the questions that we had on the Q&A chat functions.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So
if anyone
okay.
wants to send in more, we still have 10 more minutes, but you know, we can end it there because that was an amazing presentation. Thank you so much.
No
And I'm
worries.
sure we can speak for everyone here when we say we learned a lot about the university and we'll definitely put it on our radar when considering applying abroad. So I'm gonna send the interest form again just so people can send their contact details if they want to. There you go. It's in the chat if anyone's interested. And yeah, I'll end the session here. If people want to stay on call for our next university, which is Purdue, please stay. But yeah, thank you so much to Harris and wish
Okay.
you all the
Thank
suit.
you so much. Thanks for having me. If you had any question, please feel free to get in touch with me and I'll be happy to help with any queries. So I wish you a good rest soon. So I'll meet you soon in one of the events, hopefully. So until then, take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye. Purdue is next, so stay if you want. I'm gonna run for 10 minutes, but we'll be back.